good afternoon, and welcome to Have a Chat. It's a beautiful day here, and we're live at Rogers Studio in Miramichi, New Brunswick. I'm Judy Loche, along with my gorgeous co-hosts, Audrey Lynch and Veronique Arsenault.
See, we paid her a little bit today.
A little extra.
I know.
I paid extra. I got gorgeous.
It's just nice to all be on set together. Sometimes our schedules are crazy and one of us can't be here, but this is awesome when we're all together.
Yes,
So
exactly.
welcome everybody to our show.
Yes.
It's been a basically quiet weekend for all of us.
I know.
It was quiet except for the Super Bowl.
That was huge.
That was huge.
The item to be involved in right over the
was.
weekend.
It really was. Even though I didn't bother going out to any of the festivities or anything else like that, I did feel drawn to sit and watch it at home, all curled up on the couch last night. And I'm not a big football fan, but I did. The game was close.
You like the
It
uniforms
was
too,
close.
right?
Yeah, the uniforms
Who
are
doesn't?
nice.
Who doesn't?
No, but the halftime show is what I was really waiting for. I really was, with Shakira and J-Lo, and it was worth every second of it. They were fantastic.
I could not believe it. Vero and I were just talking before you arrived, as saying these women. I mean, J-Lo is 50,
Yes.
and Shakira is 43,
Yeah.
and I mean,
Moms.
everyone was tuning. I think any
Businesswomen.
red, hot-blooded male.
Or woman.
I love the outfits. Shakira's outfit, the red, kept changing. Pieces kept coming off of it and to change the outfit, but it was fantastic. J-Lo, that black outfit and the I truly, because we're women of that age group and stuff like that too. I think it's fantastic.
Listen.
I didn't find it too over the top sexual. All the outfits stayed on.
You're gonna have your haters.
Well, and the
They
other
did.
thing is that like the athleticism and that it requires to put on that kind of show.
I couldn't believe it.
Like they are strong.
That is cardio to the
athletic
max.
women.
Latino
Yes.
babes,
Oh,
yes.
and
You
shake
know?
what your mama
Yeah.
gave you, be
Listen.
proud and loud, and the
you feel about
choreography
it.
was on.
Yeah.
I said to my husband,
Exactly.
who was watching,
Of course he was.
Everybody was.
and my
yeah.
son said,
Yeah.
"What a great halftime!"
Yeah.
I said, "Did you notice their costumes? What costumes?"
Yeah.
But,
But we want to say congratulations, though, to
Kansas City.
Kansas City.
they
for
haven't won since
pulling up.
1969.
Are you really?
That was the last
I was
title.
wondering.
God
you're
bless them.
kidding.
Get it out.
Fantastic.
The new
They
face
did
of
fantastic.
NFL basically is Patrick Mahomes. He stole the show. It was
Yeah.
magic.
Yeah, it
He-
was great.
3
At first, I was
touchdowns.
concerned though the fumbling and the throwing and I was like, wait a minute. I thought there was going to be a bigger bang to the start of the game.
Bad
but
start. Big
I thought-
finish.
Yeah.
Oh
It
my
was.
gosh,
It
he was
fantastic.
outstanding. What is he,
Yeah.
24 years old?
I don't know. He
Yeah.
looked pretty young. They kept showing him, and I'm like, what is he, 12?
Yeah.
He was a
I
superstar.
he was.
Anyway,
He
they
did
won
really well.
31 over 20 over the San
Yeah,
Francisco
it was.
Giants. So
Yeah,
I know
good
there's a lot
win.
of 49er fans,
Of
including some of my
course,
friends.
there
But
was.
you know what? It is what it is. And they
Yep.
came through, and it was a very interesting evening. I'm
It
not
was.
a football gal,
No.
but I tuned
I
in for
just wanna-
halftime and the win.
Yeah. The other thing I did want to bring up that I was watching for, which a lot of people do as well, is the best commercial.
Oh, I did
during
watch
the
some.
Super. I did only because I know those spots are millions and millions of dollars worth.
To
30 have that
seconds,
spot,
Audrey.
to have that 30-second, and I have to give a shout out to Tide.
you like
won
that
it.
one?
Yes, they did, because their commercials through those 2 or 3 hours where you had to keep watching them because it was a story being told.
Yeah.
And the fella from Horrible Bosses, the guy with the squeakier voice, the shorter fella, and he had a stain on his shirt.
yes, yes,
And
yeah.
with his wife, and they got older it was fantastic. I loved it. It was hilarious.
Cool.
Great job. Great job.
I just caught a bit of Chrissy Teigen with John
Oh,
Legend. I liked what I
yes.
saw.
Yeah, she had a great little commercial there.
It was
as
just
well.
very classily done. I mean, the money, they're spending $5.6 million for a 30-second commercial.
Spot.
No.
But you know
Yeah.
what? That's going to be, for 2020, the largest audience you're going to get for live
Yeah.
TV.
Oh, for sure.
So it's massive.
You're getting the most bang for your buck.
Totally.
For sure.
Anyway, it was
Definitely.
a hoopla for a lot of people.
That
A lot of-
was my weekend,
Well-
Sunday night for a couple of hours.
My husband and I just took off Friday for the day to Moncton to get away, just to drive in the sunshine and chit-chat and have lunch and browse through the malls, and just a day away. So,
Yeah,
pick up a
exactly.
few little things. Veronique, we have to back up. You have a beautiful quote for today.
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
sugar.
It's,
Yes.
Yeah, well, hey, giddy up.
Mercy.
You know, we got excited about
We
we
did.
got,
No,
we got
I'm
excited about
sorry.
tight ends there.
We
Yes.
always have, for anyone just tuning into our show, hopefully not, that you've been following us all these years, but Veronique or Audrey or I always try to come up with a nice thought or sentiment for the week.
Yeah. Well, you know, I I express it every week how sick of winter I am.
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, and my thing, I don't have a hard time with the snow. Or the cold. But I find our winters the last few years we get so much rain, right, and freezing rain.
That's bad.
And
Ice.
because I fall down every year. Every year I fall, and so I really have a hard time with it. I get very cranky about it. I'm a little
things
lady
on the
about
bottom
it.
of
You
your
can get
boots.
studded tires on my car. I'm pretty sure we can put
Yes.
studs on your
Well, that's going to be
boots.
my next thing. But anyway, so I have to change my mindset around winter, right?
Okay,
So here we go. So winter forms our character and brings out our best. Winter is a season of recovery and preparation. Winter is not a season, it's a celebration. Winter is the time for comfort, for good food and warmth, and for the touch of a friendly hand, and for a talk beside the fire. It is a time for home.
Oh,
And that's Jeffrey James.
really
That's fantastic.
What would you say about that? It gives you a new perspective on winter.
I know. I was
It
thinking,
does.
you know
It
what? And I
does.
really, you love those things where like you're cuddled in on a cold winter's night and you're watching the snow
Good
fly
food.
and and that comfort food and you've got friends and family around and so it really did change my mindset a little bit about winter.
Yeah.
Not a lot, but
What
a
I
little
think
bit.
of is January for me. We're also busy. I find my busiest time for events and emceeing events is always the fall.
Yes.
So from September right through until December, it's just
go.
always just constantly something to do.
Yeah.
After Christmas, that month of January is my time to chill.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's my time to not say yes to anything. It's my time to put my stuff away from Christmas and do nothing but what I want to do.
Yeah.
So
I like
do
the idea. I really do like the idea. Then when the weekend comes, it's like, okay, what do I? And I'm like, I don't have anywhere to go, and I have
Good.
nowhere to be.
Nice.
I'm like,
Winter's-
and I'm okay with
Yeah,
that.
I
I'm
did
gonna sit and
find-
relax.
January though for me this year, and it's not typically like that, but January for me this year seemed like on Friday it was January 94th.
Yeah, right.
Like it just never ended for me. Like January
Yeah.
seemed like the longest month I've ever put in. Now, of course, we had a lot going on, and
Yeah.
Mom's doing much better now. She's
Thankfully.
home.
Yeah.
She's
Good.
home.
Hello, Jacqueline.
Yeah, she's home full
That
time,
makes
which
a
is
difference.
wonderful. Yeah, and she's got two wonderful ladies that are working with us right now, Edie and Lottie.
Wonderful.
So we're very lucky, and she's making so much progress. So
Good.
it's
Wonderful.
wonderful.
Good.
But I found January was never ending.
Draggy.
Really?
Well, welcome to February.
I know.
And I couldn't wait to flip my calendar.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
No.
anticipate those little
We
things,
are.
just the new picture, there's always a quote on my calendar at the bottom,
Yes,
which is, uplifting as well. So
Yeah.
we are moving, we are
We are.
getting
There's
through
less
winter.
than 50 days. We're under the 50 days
yeah.
to spring, to the first day of spring, and the days are getting longer.
Giddy up.
And now that
Love
we've been
it.
so chippy and positive and perky, we have to talk about a serious subject, which is coronavirus. We just have
Yes.
to. People
We
are
do.
watching the news, they're terrified, but some facts, girls, if you have any, it's
Yeah,
really
so
spreading now.
I was listening and reading a bit this morning. So there's over 300 people that have died in China alone.
361.
Yeah, and so it is, it is starting to spread, and it's now climbed over the SARS total of
I
deaths
know.
related.
Yes. Oh,
There are
shoot.
4 cases, they say, in Canada. There's 3 in Ontario and 1 in BC. There has been a death, I believe, in the States from the coronavirus. So, and I actually looked up some myths and stuff about the coronavirus
Good.
online last night.
Good.
Yeah. Let
Okay.
me just,
Yeah.
Well,
It's a scary thought because it has now left China.
that's right.
Yeah, it
Right?
has. Yeah. So now, so these are some of the facts that they say. So the common flu kills 60 times more people annually than the coronavirus.
See, that is true. I looked up that
Did
fact
you?
too. It's the flu
Oh.
that's getting more people than the
Yeah.
virus.
Yeah.
Respiratory.
Yeah,
Right?
only
Okay.
2% of cases have reported deaths, and most of these deaths were associated with weaker immune systems, like, for example, in seniors, that kind of thing.
For
Right.
sure.
Washing hands and sneezing into the elbows is the best practice. Yeah,
Washing hands
and it's funny because
and sneezing into
Sneezing
the
into your elbow.
and
Yeah.
we've talked about this because, of course, my grandmother, who was an incredible lady, always, you and you sneeze and into your hand, right? So this always feels like my dad, but I've grown accustomed to it and have learned to modify my behavior. But it's always been a little awkward for me. So what else do they say? Really, you have to read. You have to get informed about it. They say not to just panic blindly, which sometimes we do, but really to be informed. And like we said, the flu, which we can have the flu shot, we can take care of ourselves, kills 60 times more than the coronavirus
Well, that's
right
a
now.
huge stat right
Right
there.
at the moment.
The
That's
other
just
thing
is
is,
the corona new?
Corona, well, there's been so many. There's been Ebola, and there's been the swine flu, and there's been so many over the years. SARS was huge. But now it's surpassed SARS as far as the epidemic goes. What's it, 17,300 cases worldwide?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. But the other thing, too, another myth is that the mask is going to protect you from getting it. It's not. It's a definite protector.
And it's not only one kind of mask. Any mask will help.
Yes, but if you're on a plane and you're anywhere, I mean, as soon as
tight quarters,
it's airborne. Well, now
absolutely.
it's
It is
human,
airborne,
they're
but
thinking.
water
Absolutely.
droplets, yes, when the coughing and the sneezing, and they can travel many
For
meters.
sure, and you lay your mask down, you throw it out. Someone's got to be near it,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah,
It's just that moisture. It's but it's not going to prevent me from traveling. I'm at my husband all the time, and I'm saying, "Are we still going here?" And he's like, "Sure, we are. We're not going to let that stop us."
No, and I'm taking a short trip this week.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm flying up to Ottawa. So, that's just.
You
It
can
is what it
always
is.
carry a mask with you and bring it on the plane and put it on. Though I would tend to think that would send a very terrifying message to everyone else on the
but I bet
plane.
you I probably see that. I bet you I probably will see it in the airports. But Dad in his work that he's doing right now in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, he deals every day with the Ebola virus. And so you take those precautions, right? You have to do what you have to do. But Dad for the last. Well, it's been almost 2 years now, has been, directly in the epicenter of the Ebola crisis in the Democratic Republic of the Congo.
I'd be so paranoid. I'm
Well,
telling
and we have
Yeah.
those moments, but I mean, he needs to take precautions and make sure that he's helping the people to to be
Definitely.
inoculated and all those things. So
Smart.
Yeah.
we need to do the same. We just need to take care of ourselves and make sure that we are washing our hands, and that's to fight the common cold, to fight the flu, to fight corona,
Yes.
whatever.
Yes.
Washing your hands every day and frequently during the day is the best course of action.
And reporting if you have symptoms.
Absolutely.
If you have a fever, if you have a cough, it could be a virus. It could be just your general cold. But report it to your doctor if it continues and it's respiratory. When I was in Tokyo this summer, I was so alarmed because I'd never been there before by the amount of people wearing masks.
They do,
It was in
yeah.
August,
you're
and I mean, I
kidding.
said to Gerard, "Is there something going on here that they're all protecting themselves against, or is it just a
Right.
precaution that they may pick up a cold?" Or he just said, "No, that's their custom. They don't want to
that's
catch
right.
germs,
Yeah.
or they don't need them. They don't want to get anything."
You often see it like
You're
in
kidding.
news
I didn't know
reports.
that.
No, news
Young
reports.
girls and women and-
you will often see, especially in China, that
Yes.
they will typically wear masks.
I thought I should
for
buy
land's
myself
sakes,
one,
that's
but
news to
I'm
me.
always paranoid wearing masks because then it looks like I have something. That,
Yes.
like you
That's
said.
what I said. I'm afraid people think I'm the one that's contagious.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just like, I don't know who's contagious, which is why I'm wearing a mask.
Yes.
Right?
I just wanted to ask you, getting back to the just for a moment, the Super Bowl. What did you think of Demi Lovato's performance with the national anthem? Did you watch it?
I
Carol?
did watch both
Yes.
of these things. I don't know the name of the lady who sang first, but I did love Demi's rendition. I loved her outfit. She
Yes.
looked classy.
I know.
She looked, I thought it was fabulous. I mean, shout out to her. I'm sorry I didn't mention her in the
No,
beginning.
that's why I'm mentioning
But that
her.
was, definitely. I thought it was fantastic. She did a great job. Her outfit was picture perfect on her. And
My comment to that was I thought she put her heart and
She did.
soul and her patriotism right on the line. It was, you could feel her love for the country
Yep.
and for the game. And she's been through so many
I
struggles
know.
with
She
mental
has.
health, and which we're really ironically going to talk about in one of our segments coming up. But bless her heart, my favorite so far has been, well, not, like most recently was Lady Gaga's. I thought last
Yeah.
year she was just out.
Well, I find her amazing no matter
Standing.
what she
No.
does. So.
Yeah.
But she was so good.
Yeah.
And Prince was amazing when he
yeah,
did it.
I did rewatch that. When everybody
Gosh,
was
he was
posting
good.
what your favorite halftime show was, and I'm like, yeah, that's right. So I went back and I watched it again, and he's just an icon.
I miss
An
him.
icon. I do too.
I know,
really
I
do.
know.
I
Yeah.
really do as well.
Okay, what else?
Again,
Any other chit chat,
There's
girls?
it's Black History Month.
It's Black History
is,
Month,
yeah.
right?
Which
And
is
there
so important.
Yeah, and we're actually celebrating it here at Carrefour Beausoleil on the 15th. There was actually an interview on the radio, one of the radio stations this morning. So that's coming up. So I wanted to give a little plug. You
Yeah.
work
The
for
whole
them.
month.
Yeah,
is
there's
dedicated-
a there's
the
a
whole
drum group that's coming on February 15th. That's what they're doing, and it's quite amazing. Like really, for us to have them here is incredible.
Tell
and
again.
it's for everybody.
Carrefour.
Yes, yeah, Carrefour. Yeah, on
Beausoleil.
February 15th. So, I mean, Black
the
History
evening.
Month. They named February Black History Month because, the struggles and the oppression that our friends and family and our country people have gone through here and in other countries is incredible, and it needs to be commemorated and remembered so that it can't be repeated. And we're still not where we need to be.
No, we certainly are not.
You know, like, and there's been so
Unfortunately.
many outstanding contributions to the world, but we need to highlight them.
Honor them
Yeah,
in
so
a
that-
bigger way.
Yeah, we need to do better. We need to do
We
better
do.
with our people of color, and we haven't. We're getting better, but then I know so many still that suffer and struggle.
So unenlightened, and
Yeah.
it didn't begin. You know, it didn't begin with Rosa and end with
No,
Martin.
that's
I mean,
right,
there's
yeah.
so much
No.
more to learn, and
Yeah.
so many people to bring to the surface and say, look at this, look what they've done.
Yeah.
There's a misconception still about a lot
There
of it,
still
and there's
is,
white
yeah. A
supremacy
stigma.
out there, and
There
that's
is.
bad. And they've,
There
they've
is.
been fighting a fight for a long
Oh, yeah.
time, and they're
Absolutely.
so deserving of better recognition.
No, that's just
Absolutely.
it. So to help celebrate Black History Month, definitely stop by Carrefour Beausoleil on the 15th. I believe 6:30 in the evening. Free food, by
Giddy
the
up.
way, and it's open
Free
to
food.
everybody. It's not
Giddy up.
just those of color.
No, it's
for
a great,
everybody
it's
to-
a great
Yeah.
great event. Yeah,
Yeah.
and the Multicultural,
multi- yeah,
the
they're putting it on.
Multicultural Association has done some phenomenal events, and it was interesting. A few years ago, I was still working for them, and the Atlantic Institution invited us to go speak to the inmates.
Yes.
And I said on the phone, I said, I'm not sure that you realize. That I am about as white as they come. Like I'm redheaded and I'm very,
Right.
very fair.
Fair.
And she said, no, that's okay. She said, we just want to create an event for them and everything. And so it was really
Wonderful.
interesting because my dad came with me, and our wonderful president Rumba Prashad came with.
Beautiful lady.
And one of our job officers came, Juliet, and it was such a wonderful experience for all of us. And we did a workshop session with the prisoners, the inmates, and also with the staff.
Very rewarding.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved everything about it. So and it was such a learning experience for me as well.
Well, this is going to be good, and for people that can go out and support
Yeah.
this whole big
exactly.
awareness, I think it's beautiful. So
Yeah.
that is the 15th.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the 15th
good.
of this month, February.
Valentine's
for
Day is
Valentine's
coming up.
Day weekend.
So listen, girls, we're going to go to break.
Oh,
and for our
okay.
viewers, thanks for tuning in. Do not leave us, though. We're going to be back very soon with our first guests. Thank you. Welcome back to Have a Chat. We have our first guests for this segment, and we're very pleased to have two wonderful high school students from James and Hill Memorial High in Miramichi East. And we have with us Emma Wormel and Jenna Taylor joining us.
Welcome.
I'm
Welcome,
just
ladies.
so proud, as Audrey and Vero are, to have you here on the subject of mental health.
Yes.
Definitely.
And before we dive into what you're here to talk about specifically, tell us a bit about who you are. First of all, Emma.
Alright, so I'm Emma, Emma Wormel. I'm from Napan. I go to JMH. I am graduating this year.
Once a Tommy, always a Tommy.
Yes,
Yes.
big year.
Jenna?
I'm Jenna Taylor. I'm from the other end of Napan, and I have one more year at James M. Hill.
So grade 11 student. And we do have another girl that is going to come on another time when what we're talking about today is further along again, and that would be Grace Gillis.
Yes.
Yes.
And she's part of this team, and so she's going to join us at another date. But for today, please tell us what you're here to talk about, which is your new magazine.
I'll show it. You guys talk about it.
All right, so this was actually part of a school project. It's a long story about how the block started, but it's actually humanities block, so it's 2 periods a day.
At Jameson Hill.
2 periods in one day, you have this class. Okay.
Yes,
That's
so it's not
different.
actually a class. We get to choose a project to hit all the outcomes
Okay.
in these 2 humanities courses. So I'll use my example
Okay.
as an example as how it might work. So I took world issues and journalism.
Yes.
So this is a lot of journalism and world issues.
Perfect.
Correct.
And you took
I took English and history, where history, I didn't really meet the outcomes for this. So on the side, I was doing essays and biographies and everything to meet the history outcomes.
Okay. Oh wow. So you guys, the 3 of you ladies, have published a magazine.
yes.
That's amazing.
That's a first. That's
Yeah.
a first
That's
for Jameson
amazing.
Hill, is it
Published
not?
their own magazine.
I think that's
I
the
know,
first
I
that
think
that's
so. I'm sure it
there.
is.
And Jameson Hill opened in 1972, I believe. So that's a
Yeah,
big
really.
stride.
I mean, it's been a while. Yeah.
It's been a while.
So what prompted you, especially to focus on mental health in your age group? What prompted you to do this?
Well, the 3 teachers that were in charge of the humanities block more or less told us to focus on world issues at first. So we had like the obsession with wealth, poverty, homelessness, and we were going to focus on the obsession with wealth because it is such a big topic lately. But we were having trouble connecting to it.
Okay.
So our teachers told us to focus on something more city-wise. So we were like, mental health is a really big topic that's going on right now.
Yeah.
Especially within
And
our
it touches
school.
your
Yes.
and it touches your age group. So
Yes, for
Yeah.
sure.
a little more relatable.
Yes.
The magazine is entitled Unfiltered.
Yeah.
Who came up with that idea?
Actually, Grace. She
Love it.
one night in her bedroom, she made up a list of potential titles for the magazine, and we went through and we loved this title.
Wow.
Yeah.
Had you been watching Howard Stern to come up with this?
Unfiltered.
Title? Spurred off the idea. Mental health is huge, and the magazine I just flipped through and showed the girls, and we were so impressed with the material that's
Yes.
contained in there. But somebody had to absolutely initiate the idea. So it came from your classes, but who said, let's do it, and specifically talk about it, put it together? Who was the brains behind this thought? Had to be
I'm
somebody.
gonna say you. I'm really gonna say you.
Okay, Emma.
Well, I don't know if I chose the topic, but I did bring it up because I had seen a lot about mental health, and we did have an ETS group and the stigma group start last
Right.
year.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Of
And
course.
they all graduated. So
Yeah,
I know.
this
What
is
a-
kind of a way to bring their legacy back to the school.
Take over.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
It's incredible that you've been able to do this. How did you come up with like the topics that you focused on inside? Like, how long has it taken you to put this all together and publish it?
We came up with the idea roughly halfway through October, and we got it printed for January.
Wow.
Pretty
Yeah.
incredible.
That's a little impressive.
Basically,
For
the
sure.
3 of you did this, or were there other people on board, other students, or was it just you 3?
It was
involved?
just us 3 students, but we had
Yeah.
like quite a few teachers helping
Yeah,
us with it.
Yeah.
we
This was your
wrote
project.
Yes.
We wrote it, but we did interview people, some mental health professionals.
Yes.
Around
Okay, so this is
Miramichi.
researched information that
Yeah.
you have gathered
Yes.
and
Yes.
put to paper.
Tell the viewers some of the mental health issues that are obviously felt amongst your peers and generally children right up to adulthood, but within your group at Jameson Hill Memorial, which spreads to all schools.
I think I'd say probably the most prominent one is probably anxiety. And we did really want to cover that within our magazine
Yes.
because it's a big problem within schools that we found.
And are you seeing, like, it's funny because now it's been quite some time since I went to high school.
Nah.
Quite some time. But I don't remember anybody, and I'm sure we all had anxiety, but I
Yeah.
don't remember anybody ever talking about it.
No.
You know, so are you seeing that more and more? Like, are you seeing, like, all of your friends are they freely talking about the fact that they're having anxiety, or is it still that tough subject to discuss?
It's getting more out there, but I
Good.
still find people our age now are still misinterpreting anxiety for stress.
Right?
So they'll be
yes.
like stressed over a science test that's next week, and they'll be like, "Oh, I'm so anxious! Like it's driving me insane how anxious I am about this test." And they didn't really know how to decipher stress from anxiety. So if you flip through the magazine, there are some of my articles talk about like facts and statistics about the mental illness, where some of Emma's are coping mechanisms to deal with these. or-
Perfect.
Great.
I mean, I'm not a person that gets, I would never say, I don't get depressed, but I find winter, I'm a little bit more not myself, and I think
Yes.
that's just the winter blues or just not as upbeat. It's a total different thing
Oh,
Yes.
for
from
sure.
having depression versus a bit of blah season.
Yeah,
Yes.
some people might think they might be going through the same thing you are, and they might automatically think, oh, I have depression.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's not always
No.
that.
Well,
Seasonal.
I think the biggest thing is, and that I think that your magazine is going to help the most with, is the fact that being sad, being down, and having a little bit of stress are all normal
For sure. Yes.
things that happen to you because of the different things that happen in our
Absolutely.
lives and things like that. But then there's the level, how do you know if it's crossed the line where you require a little more help? And it would be
Assistance, yeah.
considered more of a mental illness. And this magazine, I'm assuming, will have all the different guidelines that will help that person, that young person,
Yeah.
decide whether or not they do have that.
Oh yeah, and we did try to cover that as much as we could, and we do plan on doing an issue number 2 to cover
Okay.
other mental health topics.
There's
So there'll be
so
different
much.
volumes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us about some of the content. I flipped through and saw some amazing inspirational quotes and they resonate with, I'm sure, most people. Just give us a couple in the book or some facts that you've drawn up, and maybe we can give a view to the camera of a
Give
certain
a
page.
view. Okay.
Very
So
professional.
the
looking.
magazine starts off how?
It starts off, besides the table of contents,
Yes. Yes.
it starts off with coping with stress, because we know that that was a very big issue.
Big topic within
Yes.
teams.
Yes,
Tests
exactly.
and presentations, just literally anything someone can
Yes.
get anxious
Social
over.
media.
Social media, yes, we do.
Oh,
cover
it
that.
Yes.
never leaves the person. So
I
if
know.
you're picked on at school, okay, or someone says, I don't like your dress, every person can say that same thing and make the person feel like they don't want to go back to school because
Yeah.
they feel
Well, it's-
bad about
No,
themselves.
it's one thing for someone to say that I don't like your dress or make that comment, and then you see the 2,000 people that like the nasty comment. So that
Exactly,
that
Audrey.
makes it 2,000 times more hurtful.
Good
You're
point.
always
It's insane.
connected
That's
that
a
way.
very good point. It just keeps going and going and spiraling. So that phones are they're a great thing to
Yeah.
have technology-wise,
Yeah.
but they're also very detrimental to
It can
people's
be
health.
damaging to someone's
No,
mental health.
I would
Yes.
think even as a parent, this kind of magazine would be helpful to me to
Anybody.
help how to speak to my child when she
Yes.
comes to me with those things that, oh, this person said that, or oh, I have this exam,
Yeah.
and just
Yes.
how to know whether or not she's truly just stressed
I
or
know.
if I need to intervene a little more aggressively
Yes.
with helping her.
Well, I mean,
Really important.
stress, no matter what age you're at, is tough to cope with, right?
Yeah.
So, and of course, when you're in high school and you're trying to plan for your future, you're trying to do all those right things.
Yeah.
It's a scary thing.
It is a scary thing.
It's
And I
scary.
remember, like, exams are tough, and you've
Yeah.
got your presentations, and you've got your tests and stuff, and then plus, there's just being a teenager's tough.
Veronique, the
Yeah.
hormones that play into
Yeah.
adolescence is
Being a
huge. I
teenager,
mean,
yeah, it's
I'm a
hard.
mom. I have
Yeah.
kids. I'm thinking they were great kids. That everyone has their bad days. I have my moods
Yeah.
that are not so awesome. But then you think there's just something just off. It's just hormonal, and maybe there's
Yeah.
stress and it's coming out in a negative way, which
Yeah.
everyone goes
happens.
through in life.
It does.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
then the next section
The
you would
next
consider to
page
be
that I'd like to show you guys is Language Matters.
Language
So we
matters.
had an interview with actually Audrey's daughter Teresa, and she said one of the main things that she wanted to get out was language. Because, for example, when you're talking about someone who lives with depression, very first thing that comes to mind is, oh, you're sad, you're depressed.
Yeah.
But we're trying to get it out that you don't say that someone is depressed. You
No.
You
change
have
it.
You don't
You have
actually,
depression.
yeah.
Yes.
You're not
Or-
defined by your condition.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Exactly.
And there's other there's words that you don't use.
Yes.
Oh,
Use
for
other
sure.
words so that you can get, that they can get the help they need, or they can be open to hearing what you have to say for advice.
Yeah.
Right?
My biggest problem is when I do know people, and I know many people with mental disorders, whether it be depression, bipolar. I know so many people. Like I said before in the show, I think I can walk in there and put a smile on their face by being cheerful and happy.
Yeah.
It's not going to change their chemistry.
Yeah.
It's not going to bring them around because I'm having a great day and
No.
making
Yeah.
them try to make them feel good because they're not if they can't.
Yes.
Yes.
So what do you do about that? Is that in there as to how to work with people that are next volume?
I think well, and I think sometimes, you know, and we talked about it. I posted the other day, you know, about mental health because it was that day. But I think sometimes we think we need to fix everybody.
That's
right?
me.
That's so key.
And I think sometimes we need to realize, and I have a lot of friends in my life, and you guys are those, is that sometimes I just need somebody to sit beside me and say,
listen.
I'm just here.
Just to
and
be.
you don't need
Yeah.
to talk to me. You don't need to. I'm just here.
A quiet
You know,
presence.
and if you want to say something, great. If you don't, then that's okay, because I'm not going to judge you. Because, you know, we often try and fill that awkward silence, right? You can't have gaps in your conversation.
Quiet, calm.
But sometimes, and sometimes that's what people need most, is just somebody to sit with you and say, you know what,
I'm here.
today may be a really, really rough day, but I'm just going to sit with you.
Right.
You
I
know?
even find in my industry, being a hairstylist and having clients in my chair for hours at a time, that I feel like I know my clients well enough now that there's ones who just want to be quiet that whole time. And because at first I'd feel the need to chatter.
Yes.
To,
Keep them
to fill the
entertained,
void.
yeah.
Exactly. And then I realize, and then there's those clients who just want to talk. And I just, I just listen, and I don't need to fix it. Because for one thing, that's exhausting and draining for me, trying to come up with solutions to help their lives.
They tell you all the
I mean,
problems.
you know what I
Therapist,
mean? A little
hairstylist.
bit. No, exactly. So it's so true that they just, for the most part, want someone to talk to and
Yeah.
hear.
Yes. Just
Just
someone
hear
to
what they
listen.
have to say.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of power in words, you know, and you said that in your in the last page there. But I think also sometimes we have to take the power away from words,
Yeah.
right?
sure.
Because
Yeah.
we give that and we talked a little bit about this off the air, but we give that word anxiety a lot of power, right?
Yes.
do.
Yeah.
And sometimes, and that's for me, I've had to really check myself and say, am I having an anxiety attack today? Or am I just nervous, which is a really appropriate response to the
Right, right,
situation?
right,
Yes.
Like I'm hanging off the CN tower. Am
Yes,
I
you
just
were.
nervous, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I
was.
was just nervous. Just is another word that I don't use very often, because when you say, "Oh, I'm just calling you to do," you're diminishing. I'm just this, you know. You're
Yeah.
diminishing what you are. So sometimes I'm nervous. Sometimes I'm having a full-blown panic attack, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Would you say in the school system, like amongst your, we're just going to deal with your peers
Yeah.
at this point, would you say it's more prevalent to have these issues with boys, girls, and even across the board? Would
I'd
you
say
get guys?
Probably an even.
Would you? That's interesting.
For the most part, I feel that boys don't talk about it as much.
Right.
But
They internalize
yes,
it
they do,
a
for
lot.
sure. Because
Yeah,
that's
it
just
comes
a
out in their
stigma
behavior
on
more,
it.
I would think.
Yeah.
So could you talk to some ways as to cope? So if you're having a kid that comes to you in the school and says, you know, I'm just a wreck, I just feel like I'm going to come out of myself, what are some things you can tell them to help them to kind of ease their stress level and anxiety?
But we do have a page on it, actually. I wrote.
Yes. Oh, you did?
And it's different for everyone. Everyone has coping skills
Right.
and mechanisms. There are definitely some unhealthy ones, like drugs and alcohol, and we don't want to turn to
Self-medicating.
that. But
No,
yes.
self-harming,
Yeah.
self-destructive behavior, things like that.
Look at
Yes.
that. A
So-
whole
so-
dedicated issue on dealing
coping
and
with
on
it.
coping with stress.
Yes.
Now, you spoke to and interviewed people along that, or these are your coping skills?
I researched some of them.
Did you?
Some
Yeah.
of them I got from the interviews we did. A
Mm-hmm.
little bit of both. A lot of it, like I said, it depends on the person.
Oh, I love that. You can't stop the
Yeah.
waves, but you can learn to surf them.
True. to cope.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not going to go
Definitely.
away, but
No.
to ride it out and get help
Yeah.
with it.
Yes.
No.
Another quote, I think there were a few that captured me. Can you flip
There
to
was
another
quite a
one?
few. Yes,
Because
for sure.
to me,
What was
quotes
that?
say so much. It could be
Yeah.
a
They do.
4-word
Yes,
quote
they do.
like "just
They
let
do.
it be" or whatever,
Yeah.
5 words, and
Yeah.
and it just means something.
Yeah.
This one says, "It's not the load that breaks you down; it's the way you carry
Yeah.
it."
For
Yes,
sure.
too. My youngest daughter recently came to me and showed me an app that she put on her phone that is positive inspirational quotes, so that in
Good.
her news feed, or whatever venue you guys are using, Instagram and Snapchat and all
Yes.
of that, that she's seeing and reading more things that are positive throughout her day, scrolling through, besides all the other
Yeah.
crap that can be on there, which she did that all on her own.
That's the one
I know Judy
love
liked this
that
one.
the most. When
Yes.
admiring other people's gardens, don't forget to tend to your own
Yes.
flowers.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
so bright and positive, right?
It is.
Yes.
It truly
We
is.
only have a couple minutes left, and
Oh,
we
you're
have
kidding.
to let people know. Like, so these magazines are at the school for people to pick up and go through. And
Are they for sale or are they?
Not as of
Okay.
right now. They're very expensive to print. So
Yes.
we have a
Yes.
few floating around. We've got a few
Okay.
in the Chatham Library.
Oh,
Good.
okay.
Well, we're working on getting them there. There's a few floating around the school. We're putting one in our guidance department.
awesome.
Yes.
Mental health. They have a facility. You should approach them. Maybe at downtown mental
Yeah.
health.
Well, I do have a friend that's actually presenting her project, and
Oh.
our project is in her kit that she made.
Cool.
So,
I can't get over these young
I
movers and
know.
shakers of the
I know.
future, and you're
I
going to take
know.
it past graduation, I hope, into the next level of,
I hope so,
of
yes.
what you do, because it's a never-ending subject, right?
yes.
Yes.
Always something
Exactly.
to bring to the forefront, and we
For sure.
can't thank you enough. Any
know,
final words? I
love
guess
it.
we're going to go to break, but Emma and Jenna, you've been fabulous guests.
Thank you for having
Yes,
us.
thank you.
Anyone that's watching, you're on Facebook, right? If they want to
Yes.
personally talk to you about anything.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so we're going to wrap
Love
it
it.
up
All right.
and let you get back to school. Oh dear.
Yay.
And thank you very much for being here. We're going to go to break. And again, these awesome girls, check out their magazine entitled Unfiltered. We'll be back. Welcome back to Have a Chat. Again, I'm Judy Loge, your host, with my lovely Audrey and Veronique, co-hosts this afternoon.
We're all together.
It's a beautiful day, February 3rd, and we can
It
say
is.
that with hoo-hoo, it's February now.
Yes.
I wish to welcome on the set Darren McCormick.
Well, thanks for having me back.
Darren's been on before, but maybe not everyone has seen the show that you were on. You're a well-known Miramichi personality and also a music promoter.
thank
But
you.
aside from that, tell us a bit about yourself, your family, what you would like to say.
Well, I'm married to my wife Michelle for 18 years, and we have 2 children in high school, grade 11 and 12, Jackson and Sheridan, and they help me
nice.
out in all my endeavors. Yeah, and
Smart.
right now at home, my mother and my grandmother, Patricia Murphy and May Murphy, are watching the show
Oh,
right
I
now.
know Patricia, and I know Judy,
Yeah.
your sister Judy.
And my sister
I
Judy,
know
yeah,
her
she's probably
too.
at work.
Yes.
Yeah, probably.
You're, what you say is your role model for your children, basically, because they're following in your footsteps of doing things in the community and.
Yeah, we come up with ideas, and they see the ideas develop around the kitchen table and in the home, and I try to involve them. So some of the things that I'm doing, and I'm going to talk to you guys about, is bringing some music to the community and having a good time doing it. And so that's what we do. We have some concerts from time to time at the Vogue Theatre,
Sure do.
and that's what I do. I try to show them the kind of the business side of it, negotiating the contracts, and
That's
gotta be tough, though. That part's gotta be tough.
Yeah, playing the music at home and saying this is why I want to bring these people here.
They're learning a lot.
Yeah, and then when the day comes, it's my children will be taking the tickets and the stubs at the
That's
doors, and my friends will be selling the merchandise at the tables, and it's kind of we all get involved and
I think
have
it's
we
amazing.
have fun doing it, and kind of everybody in town gets to have some fun, have a chance to have some fun doing it.
Why? So why is it such a passion for you? Like, what started this, Darren? That you're like, you know what? This is what I need to do.
Yeah, it's kind of
Because
crazy.
it's not your day job.
Yeah, no, it's not my day job at all. It's just, you know, as a music fan and a person who likes music, and then to find myself at this point in my life actually involved in this music industry here on the East Coast is kind of nuts.
Promoting it and bringing
Yeah.
it to the city.
Yeah, and that's what I would go to concerts, and sometimes as a music fan, you want to talk to the people that you kind of admire,
Look up
right?
to.
So what do you talk about? And then one thing leads to another, and next thing you say, well, why don't you come home with me?
Yes.
Yeah, come home and play in my community for my people. Because my day job, I work for SkyTech for 15 years now.
Okay.
And I travel around Atlantic Canada, and after supper and in the evenings, often what I'll do is I'll go out and see some music. And I always see things in other communities that I want to have for my
Yes,
community.
yeah,
So
right.
then we have a chat, And
Yes.
And you also have
Yeah.
a very amazing person on board with you for the most part in your endeavors is Victor Summers that renovated the Vogue. And where
Yeah.
would you say most of your venue is there at the Vogue for your shows?
Yeah, I've done the majority of the shows there over the last few years. Like my own shows, we've done one at the Rod as well, and I got involved in some community projects with when the tall ships come to town.
did you?
And I booked the entertainment for that, and that was all over the city. But yeah, lately all the fun we've been having has been at the Vogue. And
Tell us about it. Tell us who's been there recently that just kind of blew you away.
well, Victor, he must be nuts. He just lets me do what I want to do.
Yep, that's the kind of partner you want.
But they got things going year round. They got comedians and plays and music and all kinds of music. And from time to time, I bring my ideas forward, and they let me run with it. You know, and so I.
They work it in.
Yeah, and we've had some hits and we've had some misses, and we've had a few sellouts lately. Like a year ago this week, we had Matt Mays, and that sold out.
Big
Broke
name.
a record for the fastest sellout. And then this past weekend, we had Matt Anderson there, and that was an incredible show. And I don't think we'll ever break that record, but it sold out in 11 minutes. Yeah.
And that's to
And
what
how many
capacity?
how many?
Yeah, the seats are.
320 seats.
Oh, 320,
Yeah.
okay.
And then
Yeah,
last week
that's
I
all.
announced another one, which is coming up, is Sloan.
I didn't
That
know.
sold out in 24 hours.
Oh my
And,
God!
yeah.
You're picking the right names.
Yeah, and there's another fella I have coming on May 20th, and I'd like everybody to come out and see him. His name's Lenny Gallant. He's
Lenny
an East Coast
Gallant,
music
yes,
legend.
yes.
Yeah.
Award
Yeah.
winner.
Award winner.
Many
He's been
times.
nominated for Junos. He's won a ton of East Coast music awards. And last year, his song Peter's Dream, it's one of my all-time favorite songs. It was nominated, and it's part of the Canadian Music Songwriters Hall of Fame.
Isn't that amazing?
Wow.
Yeah.
So
And
is
he's
this,
gonna-
go
what's
ahead.
that? Yeah, he's going to be here on Wednesday, May 20th.
So is it all different kinds of music, whether it's folk or country
is,
or
yeah.
pop, or is it?
Yeah, folk,
Okay.
country, pop. Yeah,
Oh.
no country for me.
You're not a country
No,
fan. Audrey's a big
I like
country
rock
fan.
and roll and
Yeah.
folk and
Okay.
acoustic. I don't mind country, but like if I'm going
Yeah.
to go with my personals,
Right.
Sloan is rock and roll, like alternative rock, and they got going when I was in high school, and I'm kind of thrilled to have a band that I grew up with in high school, bringing them back here, right?
Yeah.
So age group really does not matter as long as it's good music. That, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Elvis is gone. He was a
Yeah.
legend. He is a legend. And I still love him. But you're not going to get 18-year-olds out necessarily. So what I'm saying is, how do you pool your age group to make it a sellout for everybody? Is it the 30-year-olds mostly that go to Matt Anderson, or?
Yeah, well, it's kind of
all?
funny, like age groups, like I get reminded all the time lately, like you look at my head, I'm going gray, you know. I feel like a 19-year-old.
Yes,
I
yeah.
act
I'm
like a
with ya.
17-year-old
Yeah.
sometimes,
Join
but
the club,
I look
bit of
like a
a groupie.
50-year-old. You know?
Yeah, no, I'm with
But-
you so
and-
far.
Yeah, and those are the age ranges, and like it just seems like people want to go out and have some fun, and it doesn't matter how old you are. You know, we see
Good
a
music.
broad spectrum of ages in the audience. You know, and certain ones do attract to certain ones, but you know. I think an important message for people is people like to get out and they like to see things happening in the community.
Oh, totally,
And these
yeah.
shows that sell out real quick are great, right? But sometimes what you got to do is take a chance on something you don't know, and say you might not be totally familiar with what it is, but take a chance, buy a ticket, go out for the night, and you'll be pleasantly surprised a lot of times, because that's how I got to know a lot of these acts are just by taking a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's life, right? Trial and error.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we've done plays in the past where it was just okay, and then we've had ones that have sold out for night after
Yes,
night because
yeah.
it just depends, again, what the crowd wants and what the crowd sees, and if they come back and spread the word.
Yes, exactly.
One of my all-time favorites, though, and it's been a long time since she's been here, though, is Irish Mylan.
She
Yeah.
was phenomenal.
Yeah, she's one of my all-time favorites, and she was just nominated for an ECMA there now for.
And nominated for a Juno Award.
That's right. Yeah.
Love to get her back. Is it almost
yeah.
impossible with her schedule to try to get her
Oh,
back?
I'm
in
sure.
her
Yeah, she's on the road.
Well, that's the thing. Sometimes people think they are impossible, but it's not. Like I've been talking to her, and if I was going to bring her back, you'd have to plan now for like a year from
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
Book her
Yeah,
way in advance.
and everybody thought it would be impossible to get Matt Anderson
I'm sure.
here,
Yeah.
but it's
Or even
not.
Sloan.
And even Sloan. But
Yeah.
you know, like I guess I just have the audacity
Connections.
to reach out and ask, and connections help too. Yeah,
And your
Connections,
personality, too,
and you
Darren.
build relationships, and
Yeah.
you treat people well when they come here. We treat them good and treat.
Well,
you know.
but too, I mean, you bring up a very good point, though, is that forward planning piece, right? Like, you're not just looking at the next 6 months, you're looking at the next
Yeah, you
year.
have to
Like
look
a
at-
wedding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, so you have some help, but if we wanted to help you get involved, or even send you some suggestions,
Yes.
would you be open to it?
Oh, for sure, yeah. Yeah, well,
Apparently, as long
suggestions-
as it's not country.
suggestions for sure. Like Matt Anderson totally happened by, like, people have been telling me, you got to bring Matt, got to bring Matt, and everyone thought he'd be so expensive. And would he even come here?
Yeah.
And I was curling just before Christmas with Dr. Hayden and Dr. Leonard.
Yes.
And they said, I don't care who you brought here, Darren, you got to bring Matt in, Matt Anderson. And I said, well, how hard would this be? So I went home that night, I looked him up, and he has the same manager that Matt Mays has. So I sent Louis an email that night, Friday morning. He goes, how about Saturday, February 1st? I was like, okay.
Yes,
You must have
yeah.
been so
Yeah,
excited.
yeah. So the next week I went back to the curling rink and the two doctors were there and I said, look, I showed them the email. It wasn't announced yet, right? I showed them the email and Dr. Hayden said, oh my God, I'm going to be in Florida. So he missed it. But Dr. Leonard was there and he had a great time.
But it's sold out.
And it was their
my
idea.
land.
It was-
That
yeah.
would be my luck.
That would be my luck
Yeah.
too, yeah.
But to
Yeah.
me, you know what the best concerts are when people like Irish
Yeah.
are not only phenomenal performers,
Yeah.
but they give you a show on the side
Yeah.
of their stories,
Their stories.
and their
Storytellers, yeah,
storytellers
yeah,
like Jan Ard,
absolutely.
who's
Yeah.
one.
Yes.
Jan Ard, and I don't know who else you've had there, but
Steve
they.
Poltz, he's
Yes,
quite a storyteller.
that's right. He was
I've
the-
had him
yeah.
here 3 times now.
I saw him at
And-
the Rod. I saw him at the
Yeah,
Rod.
and
It's
so
like-
later this month, I'm going to San Diego, California, for his 60th birthday party.
You,
Yeah. So we got an
fine
invite, and I said, if
We
someone
missed
invites you to San Diego,
Absolutely.
I think you got to go.
I'm like, yeah,
so we
I
made
would,
it happen, and my wife and I are going.
oh, that's beautiful.
And so what I'm going to do when I get there is I'm going to twist his arm and talk him into coming to Miramichi for my 45th birthday.
There you go.
Oh, there
Fingers
you go.
crossed.
When is your
Go this
birthday?
way
It's
for
on a
yours.
Saturday night on October the 3rd.
That
So
would be a good time.
yeah, we'll see what
October's a
happens.
fantastic month.
It's
Yeah.
Libra babies are wonderful.
I know, I married one. Big baby.
I know our whole family. They're all pretty much Libras.
What if you could like bring? Okay, let's just go somewhere fun here. If you could bring someone, anyone, regardless of money, price, whatever, who, like, what star?
Who's your dream one?
Who is your dream performer that we're not
Yeah.
going to get because they're so high end? But who would it be?
But I don't think we're not going to get them. I think we
Oh.
probably will.
You think?
And even if I think
Oh,
big,
Bryan
it's,
Adams, will you?
Yeah, even if I think big, it's always it kind of seems local, right? Like I love Joel Plaskett.
I know
right?
you
You
do.
know what I mean? And Sam Roberts, he's in Montreal. It's not that far away. And I seem to have a thing for Canadian rock and
Yeah,
roll
it's
stars,
wonderful.
and it's
Go
what I
Canadian.
listen to. So like those two are my tops, and
They are above all of the superstars out there. I'm talking superstars.
superstars.
Like
yeah,
international?
yeah.
Like I'm
like
talking
it.
like Bon Jovi. Like I would love
Yeah.
to see him in concert. He is coming on tour with
Especially
Bryan
at the
Adams.
Vogue.
No, but no, it's not good. That's what I'm saying.
I've
It's
seen
a
Bon Jovi in
hypothetical.
Moncton.
No, I would
situation.
absolutely go see. We're talking about going to see Bon Jovi in Toronto.
I love him.
But Bryan Adams isn't playing with Bon Jovi in Toronto.
He is.
He isn't.
Oh, he's
He's
not.
not.
No, it's the only one he's not playing.
Darn it! You have to go to New York or
Yeah.
somewhere.
Someone
to see
I
him.
would bring that has a bit of a country slant would be Steve Earle.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
Guitar Town,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah,
Absolutely,
exactly.
yeah.
He's got that real
Yeah.
countrified. Like
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
country and then there's the real country.
Yeah,
And
no,
he's
I would
real-
absolutely see
And
Steve.
there's two people in Steve Earle's band, the Dukes, and their husband and wife team. And as a duo, they're called the Mastersons.
He's
And they're playing in San Diego for Steve's birthday.
Okay. Why
Yeah,
do I
so-
think I've seen them or
Oh
heard
my
of them?
gosh,
Yeah,
you have a
'cause they-
good time. Do
Yeah,
I just had an idea.
you like Dwight Yoakam from the past?
not so bad.
I kind of you love what? Reed?
I'm up there. I've seen Blake
Black
Shelton.
Blake Shelton.
Yeah, Little Big Town.
Woo-hoo.
Mind you know who we saw that was here that was local? Brett Kissel came.
Yes,
he
he's
was
yeah,
at the casino.
Is that
Yeah.
Mercy? Is
Yeah,
this Mercy?
and I had said to my husband, because he's not a big country fan, but I said, oh, come. I said, because this fella is climbing the ladder so fast, you will never be standing this close to this gentleman ever again. And he got off the stage, drug a chair over, stood on the chair, and played like he was sitting in someone's kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a
And
voice.
played some rock and roll.
Yeah,
Like he did
all
when
right.
he was younger. It was absolutely
So he
amazing.
did enjoy it. Your husband did like it
he
after
did.
all.
He did. An idea and a thought I just had for the Vogue, and with the music and all of this, we should have our own little The Voice. Or
Oh,
Oh, I
right?
like a Miramichi
kind of,
idol contest.
yeah, like Miramichi Idol or
Well,
The
I'd
Voice
win
kind of
Audrey
thing
and
where
then
there's
there's any
judges.
contest because I just clean up, you know.
I just know my daughter's probably listening to this, and she's going to be wanting to find out when I can get Darren to get her to get on the
Yeah.
stage and sing.
Y'all won't let me sing in public though.
It could be a
I don't wanna
fundraiser
sing.
too. Are
Yeah.
you open to that? Fundraisers?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
for
no.
sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
you're bringing in entertainment, but do you also bring in for the cause? Like, there's something
Oh,
happening. I
yeah.
think not maybe with yourself, but we're going to have guests on next week that are coming to bring an event here that they'll be featuring and talking about next week, and that
So
is
exciting.
an act of
Oh, yeah, random act
The
of
random
kindness.
night of kindness.
So they're going to
Random
be
night.
coming on our show next week for those that are
Yeah.
interested, and
Yeah.
they'll be awesome too. And that's going to be at the Vogue.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
fundraiser.
Yeah,
Well,
they've done
and-
that a few times.
And
It's-
Victor's done some amazing stuff with that.
Yeah.
With the Vogue Theater. Like he, you know, and opened it up to the community. He's been very generous in you know, in providing it oftentimes for nonprofits and things like that. So really, you know, we've had Victor on the show and he's done some
And
great
his wife
stuff.
Jody, what a
Yeah,
great gal.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it's
yeah, they really
yeah.
brought a lot of life to the
Yeah.
to that part of town.
Yeah.
Just kind of lit it up.
No.
Yeah.
The coffee shop and the theater. and-
Renovations
yeah, it's
done,
incredible.
make comfort now.
Yeah.
How much planning though goes into one of your shows, Darren? Like, you know, I mean,
Once you got it booked,
yeah, like you
now
decide
what do
that
you
you
do?
Yeah.
Matt Anderson's
Book,
going to
you got to
come.
make sure the artists get the hotel rooms before people book them up to come
Yeah.
see them, and then you
Yeah.
you gotta kind of tend to their needs. You negotiate the contract a little bit, and book
Are
the-
there riders really as crazy as people say?
They're what?
No, some
what?
of them ask for some hummus and nacho chips and beer
Right.
and whiskey and
Like green M&Ms.
yeah,
Oh,
like,
would you stop?
yeah, but and some of them are very simple.
Yeah.
Like Matt's was cold water, hot water, and clean towels. You know,
Giddy up.
I swear to God,
Pretty-
Giddy
you know,
up.
really,
Yeah.
really simple, right? And
Yeah.
but you know, everybody's a little different, and the bigger entourage they tour with,
course.
it's a
But
little
not
more.
big divas as such.
No,
they're not
heavy-
really
heavy.
that hard to, like they're not
To
high
please.
maintenance
No.
is what Veronique's saying, that they need their massage.
Only
booked
green
in
M&Ms.
Yeah,
Handpicked.
yeah.
But isn't it nice when you're downtown in Chatham, where the Vogue is, in Miramichi East, to drive by and see up on print who's being featured
On
and
market,
say,
Yeah.
oh my
yeah.
gosh, it's
Yeah.
great to
Yeah.
know that, okay, I'm going to put that date on my calendar and know
Yeah.
that so-and-so Sloan is coming. And when is he coming again? When are they coming?
Sloan, April 27th.
April 27th.
And, yeah.
So they sold out in 24 hours.
And
Yeah.
that is a Saturday evening
That's a
as well.
Monday night.
What?
Yeah, yeah. And sometimes you just got to take any night you can get.
Yeah,
That's
of course.
true.
And
Yes.
I don't mind, like a lot of times, a lot of the shows I did are Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday because we're Miramichi and it's, the better nights of the week go to the bigger centers.
And they're traveling
Yeah,
in between, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
but it kind of works in a way because you're not competing with the
The
big
local
nights for
thing-
the local clubs
things
and
going
pubs
on.
and
That's
stuff like
true.
that. So you're not taken away from that, and you're doing something on a night where people may not have a lot of plans anyway. So
But I have to
it works.
thank you because of the spin-off that's bringing to our
Oh,
economy.
absolutely.
Look at the gas fill-ups and the restaurants and even our
Yeah.
little, like we have some
Hotels.
shopping in
Yeah.
both Newcastle, Chatham, Douglastown. We have people that might want to get their hair done by Audrey and
Yeah.
say, I want to go out tonight.
Yeah.
And can you recommend a stylist?
Yeah, and I had a few people tell me like when they're looking to move to the community and when people are looking to move here,
Yes.
they look up Miramichi online. They say, well, what goes on there? And this kind of helps.
So
There's a bit of
nice.
arts and culture going on, and
That's
this
right.
and other things that happen, and it all helps.
Yeah.
Shows we
Have
got
dinner,
a
go
bit
to
of a
the show.
pulse.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to
Lovely.
tell us about your, I mean, do you find the balance is okay right now, that you're not overwhelmed with all of this? As like Veronique said, it's not your full-time job.
It's not
Yeah.
a
So
job.
you're maintaining a
It,
good balance.
it comes together pretty simple. It's a couple of emails here and there,
you're organized.
and then the chaos is the day of, and it's kind of
Is it?
exciting. And
Yeah.
and then the day of, they check in, we go for a bite to eat, and you make sure the sounds are, the sound
Yeah.
check goes well. But it's all fun.
Time-consuming. It's time-consuming,
Yeah, so
though.
yeah,
It's a whole day and evening.
Yeah, but I love it. And then when the sun goes down and the marquee lights up,
That'd
that's
be
one of my
Gordon
favorite
Lightfoot,
parts.
wouldn't it? When the sun
Yeah.
goes down. No,
Yeah.
what's he sing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Gordon Lightfoot.
Oh, yeah.
Sundown? Is that it?
Oh yeah, that's
Yes.
it. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah, no, and I love live music. I do. It's,
Me too.
It's, there's nothing like listening to somebody, belt out a tune live,
Yeah.
no matter what it is.
So,
True.
girls and dear, we have to
That's
wrap
it.
up our show
All
on
right.
this
Hard to
wonderful day.
Just like that.
Again,
Yeah.
it's been a pleasure having you and to know what's
Yeah.
ahead of us and more to come for music. And
Yeah, we look forward to finding out all the new stuff
thank
that
you
you're going
so
to
thank
much
you very
for
much.
being our guest, and we'll be at one of your shows. Thanks everybody for watching. Have a chat. See you next
Thanks.
week.
Bye-bye.